me really, having been involved with the Mintridge Foundation as an ambassador for the last 3 years, when the opportunity came to run for a charity. It was only the only charity I really wanted to run for, because I wanted to do it for something that I was part of, obviously something that I was really passionate about, does amazing things, and at a time where it's probably needed more than ever, after what we've been through for the last 12 to 18 months. To be honest, I think I've had a lifelong ambition to run a marathon. The London Marathon is obviously the most iconic in many ways, and so the opportunity to run in that one was something that I was never going to pass by the opportunity. Have I always wanted to run a marathon? Probably not, actually. I've always thought the idea was a lot more appealing than actually doing it, but over the last 12 months I've got really into running, and it's something that I think is kind of just an amazing thing to say that you've done and you've achieved. Everybody who's done it says that it's incredible, the atmosphere is amazing, and of course, most importantly, it gives you the opportunity to support people and organisations that need it and raise some money. So it's good for me and it's good for other people. So yeah, I'm really excited about doing it. Yeah, when I got the place, I didn't really have any sort of time in mind, but being the competitive person that I am, the sort of sportsman in me came out, and I want to do it as fast as I can. I admire people hugely who dress up as the Honey Monster or something like that, but actually I think I'll be running in my smart Limitless kit, going around as fast as I can. In terms of kind of my ambition, I'd love to run it in under 3.5 hours. Whether that will happen or not, I don't know, but that's my aim. And if the training goes well and I stay injury free, hopefully I'll be able to do it. I'm really looking forward to just the atmosphere. I think people say that it's like nothing else, and the crowd will carry you around. So I'm hoping that my family will be there, and hopefully a proud day for them as well. So yeah, it's really exciting. Oh wow, that is a difficult question. I think so many people could win it. I certainly wouldn't. I don't think I'd even finish in the top 10. But I think Heather might win. I know that she's incredible, the endurance stuff that she does. She's been really kind in terms of offering her support in my training, so I'm definitely going to back Heather. I can think of other people like George or someone like that who probably do well, but maybe he'd be better when it's sprinting. So I'm just going to go first place only, and Heather. Heather's got my backing.
Not Alex Wallace.
Definitely not me.
Yeah, I think firstly as an ambassador, I think Mintridge, what it does and what it stands for, the opportunity to be part of that, it gave me a platform to share my story, and particularly try and influence the lives of young people. My story is probably a bit different to a lot of the other ambassadors who've had hugely successful careers, done amazingly inspiring things, but actually there is another side to life and life as a professional sportsman or woman, and I think giving young people an insight into that, and what can happen when things don't work out, the fact that things can go wrong is important for them to understand, because if anything it will hopefully motivate them to make sure they didn't make the mistakes that I did, or the choices that I did. So I think the opportunity to make a difference is ultimately why I do what I do with Mintridge. It's a cliche, I know, but if you can help one person or change one person's life or career, then that's why you do it. As far as the kind of fundraising element, I think having been through what I did, having taken a lot away for a long time, I think the opportunity to give something back is why I wanted to do it. I've also been through some challenges, but also I now use kind of challenges to motivate myself, and this was always going to be a big challenge, but actually one that I wanted to do for the right reasons. And I think, as I said, and as I've alluded to already, I think charities are an area started running back in the first lockdown that we went through, I could see that that was the way that it was doing and was manifesting itself. And it was quite interesting because it was almost like I started to need to do it, and it became a bit like a drug in terms of kind of the feeling that I got when it was done or when I hadn't had it. And I became very aware of that, and it was just about managing it. When I then set myself the challenge of running the marathon, I knew that it was something I was going to have to think about, and I've got better at, and I realised the importance of kind of looking after your body as well and not just flogging it. So yeah, it's something that I kind of battle with, but I've got a lot better, and having that awareness I think is really important. But also now I think back to what my addiction was and did, and I think, well, do you know what, this is something that I'm doing a lot of, but actually it's having a positive effect on me, and I think indeed other people, because it's so good for my mental health as well as my physical health. And that's why I love doing it more than anything else. During rehab they talked a lot about things like mindfulness, and it's quite a complex and complicated subject, and you've got to find your own ways, but actually when I'm running is when I'm probably my most kind of mindful. It allows me to kind of switch off and not think about too much when my mind usually operates at 1,000 miles an hour. So yeah, it is a question of kind of managing it and making sure that it continues to have a positive impact on you rather than a negative. And the second it starts to have a negative impact, or start to change my behaviour as a result of it, then that's when I need to do something about it. But previously I wouldn't have had that awareness, which is great now to have it. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I was always obsessed, or I always thought so much more about what other people did, what was right for other people, what other people would say or think, and that drove me to do and behave in certain ways that I look back on now with great regret. And actually I realise now that you've got to do what's right for you. In terms of the kind of stereotypes, I think one of the biggest things that I want to kind of challenge, and I know that a lot of people are doing it, and there's a lot of great work out there around it, is this kind of concept of what it is to be strong. And that previously, certainly when I was younger, I always believed that strength was being silent, was dealing with problems yourself. But actually I now know that kind of showing vulnerability is a sign of strength and courage, and the more we can encourage people to do that, seek help of other people, is important. It's a generalisation, but I think it's true that young males aren't particularly good at that. It's not modelled enough to them, and actually if I can be somebody as a relatively young male who's been through the things that I have, who've learned the hard way that actually there is another way, I think then it'd be stupid of me not to try and do something about that and make a difference. But absolutely, I think be very open-minded when it comes to what works for you, and just because somebody else thinks it's stupid or doesn't work for them, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. And one of the bits of advice that I always try and give young people is don't do other things because other people tell you to, or because they do it because you want to. Yeah, I mean, I was very lucky, and I was fortunate in many ways that when I was younger, I was very high achieving. I was very fortunate in my background, everything kind of went perfectly, and I had this kind of warped perception of life that was how it was going to continue. But actually I look back on my time as a young person, and I sometimes wish more had gone wrong, because if I had learnt to deal with kind of failure or setbacks or challenges, then I might have been better equipped to deal with them when things went really wrong. And actually I talk a lot about facing challenges and how you deal with those, and I openly admit I didn't deal with adversity or facing challenges very well, and my coping mechanism was to always escape from them, to run away from them, and in my case it was to addictive substances and behaviours. But actually I think one of the most important things for young people to learn is that actually when you are faced with challenges or adversity in your life, you should never run away from them. You've got to tackle them head on. We all have to deal with them. Life throws curveballs at you, but what defines you is kind of how you deal with those. And I think it's really important that people understand that you don't have to try. And my thinking was always I had to deal with that challenge or problem myself, whereas actually you don't. You can seek the support and help of other people, but it does take a lot of strength, determination, courage, and also time. There's often not a quick fix. It can take time, but I think when we are faced with these challenges or things go wrong or you fail, actually embrace those moments. They're not easy, but actually overcoming those challenges makes it even more rewarding. And I kind of look at the marathon a bit like that. I obviously faced huge personal challenges in my life, and I'm very proud of the way I overcame those now, but I look back and I think, you know what, I wish I'd overcome the challenges that I faced as a young person a lot better. So it's about learning from them, and that, I think that's one of the most important lessons in life. So yeah, embrace the challenges that you face, try and overcome them, and if you can't do it yourself, then seek the support of other people, because people's reaction is very different to what you think it's going to be, and people will help you and people will admire you for coming forward. So that's really important. I think probably collapse. No, hopefully my legs will get me through. I'll be okay. I think I'll probably try and really enjoy that moment and that kind of satisfaction that will bring the euphoria. I think seeing all you guys around me, my family, that will be amazing. Probably try and enjoy that moment as much as I possibly can, and then I'm not going to lie, I'll probably make my way. Hopefully the weather's all right. Try and find a beer garden and have a pint of beer. I think will probably be the way I celebrate.
What's to go to? What's going to be your beer of choice?
Actually, I drink cider now, but probably I'll be thirsty, so probably a cider or lager. And I'll probably treat myself to a very large pizza or something similar. I try and be as good as I can with food these days, because I certainly didn't used to be. But yeah, I think I'll have an excuse to treat myself that day. But I just look forward to kind of enjoying the moment and celebrating it with people around me. And of course, it'll be nice because I actually know quite a few other people that are running in it, and who are also supporting amazing causes. So I think that kind of feeling of being a team, although it's very individual, will be really nice. I think more than anything is donate. We've got a fundraising page through Enthuse, so that's available on the Mintridge website, all my social media channels, all the Mintridge social media channels. We would be so grateful if you could make any donation whatsoever. We're not expecting people to give huge sums of money, because we realise that times are difficult. There's a lot of people, as I've already said, who are running for other amazing causes, and it's sometimes really difficult to prioritise, but I can assure you that the money will go to an incredible cause, something that's so valuable that will make a difference to people that really need it at a time where it's probably more important than ever. So yeah, absolutely, that's the way that you can support more than anything else, is by making a donation or by sharing those platforms amongst your own networks to try and widen our reach as much as possible. But the